It happened to me in a police incident. Hello, my name is Bryan. I came to tell you something that left a strong impression on me in my police career. My dream of being a police officer started when I was a teenager. I wanted to become one because I saw one save my father's life in a kidnapping attempt. Then I started to study and practice physical exercises, to take the test and try to get into the police force. My parents didn't like the idea at first. We lived in Los Angeles, and they thought it was a dangerous city to be a police officer. But I didn't care a bit about it, because becoming a policeman became my dream. As soon as I turned 21, I took the long-awaited test and passed. I was so happy. It changed my life. Soon I started training and then I went to work. They introduced me to my partner, Nancy. She was already a very experienced police officer with more than 15 years of service. Nancy for me was a great partner. She taught me many things and also warned me about many things. The police profession is really dangerous. I remember well my first exchange of fire. It was a robbery at a convenience store at a gas station. The robbers took the man hostage. Nancy and I were trying to negotiate with them, but it wasn't very successful. When reinforcements arrived, the conversations ended. They let the hostage escape, and then the shots started. The two robbers died. A pity, they were two young boys who made bad choices. In the first few months, that was it, chasing a car at high speed until I caught the guy, exchanging shots with some drug dealers, dealing with domestic incidents. Soon my freshman year was complete. I was very happy, and I was promoted in office. Nancy would no longer be my partner. Now I had a new coworker. His name was Patrick, and the two of us got along super well. A few years went by. I got promoted a few times, and I didn't change partners. I structured my life in the police. I met the love of my life and got married, had 2 children with her, who at the time this happened, were 3 and 5 the other. I'll tell you that part better now. It was a very rainy day. We were called to an incident, a fight at home, husband hitting his wife. It was common in parts. This case was very different. I never hesitated in these situations. I always gave the guy a good beating. It even got me into trouble a few times, but nothing that a good conversation couldn't solve. In this one, the guy was normal, a little fat, around 1 meter and 70 tall, bad looking, seemed to be drugged or drunk. The woman was chubby and short. Her face was smashed by the guy. We already broke down the door because we heard her screaming inside. While Patrick surrendered the man, I beat him with a truncheon that left him unconscious. We took him to the police station. He was not held long. His companion withdrew the charges, and he was released. Before I left the house on the day I took him, I saw their son, also a chubby boy who must have been around 6 years old. He looked at me and thanked me, asked me not to leave, and to take care of him and his mother. That messed with me, you know. I told him that I couldn't do anything else, but for him to call the police whenever he needed us to help. He was crying and I left. When I got home and hugged my children, my heart ached. There are a lot of bad people out there, and a lot of people suffer from it. I got to pass by that place a couple of times when I was off duty, and I always saw the boy at the window of the house looking out. My parents ended up moving from Los Angeles, and my mom got sick. I went to visit her and asked for a 2-week leave of absence from work. When I returned to the service, everything was normal. The time I spent with my mother and family was so good that I had forgotten what it was like at work. The week passed, and the following week I passed in front of that boy's house and saw him at the window. I commented with Patrick about that case. That's when I felt bad again. Patrick told me that a week before I got back, there was a shooting at that same location. The guy had killed the woman and the boy and killed himself. Knowing that made me feel awful. I didn't know that boy, but I can imagine the anguish he went through. And he asked me for help, and I didn't help. I could have gone back there, killed the guy, broken his bones, whatever. To have taken that child out of there. I cried a lot when I heard the news. And I asked about the house. He said it was empty, but the bank would already put it up for sale. I worked very badly in the days that passed, and whenever I went there I saw that boy in a glance. Until they sold the house. And in the second week we received an occurrence that there were people invading the house. When we got there it was all dark. Patrick went to check the light and I went into the house. As soon as I walked in and got to the center of the room, the light came back on and I saw a man. It was the same damn thing, only he was wearing all black clothes. He threw me and I fell to the floor. It all happened so fast, I thought he was dead. When I regained consciousness, Patrick was shaking me. There was nothing in the house and he didn't know what had happened to me. He said he arrived and saw me on the floor. I asked the new owner of the house, and he said he had been disturbed for a while, and this time it was so intense that he had to call us. After that my mind became strange. I started to work poorly and distracted. That's when my colleague talked to the supervisors and they decided to give me some time away. It was 3 months for me to recover from the damage my mind had suffered. I spent that time with my family at my parents' house, and they were wonderful months. When I got back, Patrick told me that nobody stays in that house anymore and now it's empty. I avoid going there because I don't like to remember that story. That left me with traumas and deep scars. And to this day the house is empty. Not even addicts have invaded there. Everyone is afraid, even neighbors have moved. I know what happened there, and I feel guilty for not stopping it. And that's today's story. If you liked it, subscribe